Hi guys, how are you? Okay, a question that comes up pretty frequently is how do I cast the cards or choose the cards that I'm going to use for my reading? So we talked just a little bit about shuffling your question into the deck, which is setting your intention to ask the question, and as you're setting your intention, you're just shuffling the cards. Part of that process also, though, in your intention, is telling the deck how you want to choose your cards. You don't have to choose, you can choose whatever you want. Let's put it this way. You can choose however you want to do this. Just be consistent with it. Always choose the same thing. I choose the cards on the top. So when I'm done shuffling and I feel like I'm set to go, oh, jumpers. We can talk about jumpers too in just 1 second. When I feel like I'm ready to go, I simply choose the cards on the top. So if I'm doing a spread with 3 cards, I will shuffle into the deck my question, and it knows I want the top 3 cards on the deck. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And yay, I get the sun, so that's really wonderful. So this is how I will choose to cast my cards. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is when you're done shuffling, you can just choose cards from, let's say, the center of the deck, in the back of the deck. You can have your querent choose them. Again, it doesn't matter which one you choose, just the one that you choose, be consistent with it, okay? Constantly do the same thing. This one gives me the Ace of Pentacles. It looks like we have some good opportunities if we do it this way. Okay, that's another way to choose. You can set the deck down and cut the deck. And let's say cut the deck again, and then take the cards on top. Okay? All of those are valid. All valid ways to choose your card. Here's another one that a lot of people like when they're done shuffling. They're just going to fan them out and then choose. Some people are, especially if you are clairsentient, might like to roll your hand over the deck, and some people will get a feeling, a warm feeling around the cards that they're supposed to choose. And then this is how they'll choose the cards. Okay? And if those are speaking to you, then those are the 3 cards you're supposed to have. Again, all of these methods are valid. You can use whatever method you want. Just make sure that your intention is clear and that you do it the same way every single time. This is how you build a relationship with your deck. Now, since you just saw that one jump out of the deck, let's talk about jumpers. Again, this is something that you choose if it's important to you or not. Just make sure that you are consistent. So, I always say, oh, okay, so here's another one. Cards that turn over while you're shuffling. When it's just 1 or maybe it's 2, I think these are trying to get my attention. I'm going to include them in my reading. If I have just 1 that kind of falls out as I'm shuffling, okay, here's a really great example. Hold on, please. Okay, so did you see that when I was shuffling, a whole big chunk of cards fell out? Now, some people will ask, do you use those in your reading or not? I call that bad shuffling. Like I had 6 cards flying out of there. That's just a shuffle mishap. It happens all of the time. But if we have 1, oh, there's a good example. So we're shuffling, we have intention, we have 1 that goes flying out at us. Again, choose whatever works for you. For me, when I have just 1 card flying out, I assume it's doing everything it can to get my attention. So I include that in my reading. And usually the way I'll include that in my reading is I will just set it off to the side. I'm not going to include it as one of my 3 cards that I'm laying out. Oh my gosh, can you just see that we're having the exact same, that is the exact same reading we had earlier. Is that crazy or what? That's the exact same reading we had earlier, and I have been sitting here shuffling and telling you how to cast cards. Okay, so this is the reading. And then I use this usually as a highlight or something, an extra message that it has to tell me, and that's what we call a jumper card, or most people call a jumper card. So you can include them if you like to. You don't have to. If one falls out and it doesn't mean anything to you, you don't have to get upset about it. Just whatever you choose to do, Be consistent with it, and when you're consistent, then your deck and you are building a relationship, and the deck knows. So if you're constantly one that just pulls from the top, even if you're doing a big reading with 10 cards, it knows you want 10 cards in a particular order, and it will do that for you. If you're one that goes by clairsentient and you're going by feeling, it will know that, and you will have warmth or whatever your feeling is by the right cards. If you're doing it based on, cutting the deck, constantly do it that way, and it will give great results for you. Just choose one, do it consistently. The same way when we were talking about how to turn cards, turn them, this way or turn them this way. Just be consistent so that you know you always have the same thing. Okay? If you have any other questions about how to cast cards or how to choose them, you know where to find us. Talk to you soon, okay?